Internet marketing, why you should never trust a computer. It's not just in science fiction books and movies that computers turn against us. And at least in those situations, it's normally pretty clear something has happened, mainly because that's a lot of the plot. It happens with the computers that are supposed to look after your internet marketing as well. Except they don't always give you much, if any, signal that something has gone wrong. The internet is a complex place. Lots of things happen behind the scenes so that we can do everything we expect to do with the minimum of hassle. It's changed a lot since I first started. Then, you needed a degree in geek to do almost anything. The first browsers were helping to make searching the available content something useful rather than having to enlist the help of a gopher. But the complexity that has made ease of use possible also has drawbacks. Sometimes when a computer program that you're relying on stops working, you'll get some kind of indication. Often, it's just a clue in those error logs you never look at. So you don't know until someone tells you, like I did with a company a few years ago when their email form stopped working. I phoned them and told them and got the response, I thought it was a bit quiet today. But most people don't do that. So, it's worth testing critical things like that. Maybe once a week on a Monday morning. Computers seem to like taking time off at the weekends much like we do. Maybe because the engineers are away from site. If your website is critical for your business, it's worth using a monitoring service to check that it's online. You're probably thinking that your website host should do that, and I'd agree with you. But I'd also tell you that they are often blissfully unaware of anything more than the most basic problem. If the server your site is hosted on stops working completely, they'll probably know, but if it reacts okay to a low-level ping, then that's often the limit of their testing. Nothing as complicated as whether or not your index page shows up when you try to load it in a browser, and definitely nothing like does your contact form or site search work. That's hit and miss even when you speak to someone in support. Autoresponders, the things that send out emails like clockwork, usually work okay, but if there's an outage with the service, you're unlikely to be told. Partly because unless it's a system-wide fault, they don't want to alert everyone or are concentrating on fixing the problem. Maybe, if I'm being cynical, because they don't want to pay compensation for the outage. That excuse happens quite a bit with hosts. They only pay the handful of people who were paying attention rather than the much larger number who weren't. The other thing to keep on top of is any links you send people to. You won't get told if a domain you're pointing to changes hands. Even if it changes content from PG rated to something you'd rather not think about. Or, more likely, changes from being a useful resource into a few spammy adverts. You're also unlikely to get told if the affiliate program you were earning cash from stops. All you'll notice is the change in income, and at first, unless you check deeper, you may well put that down to seasonal or internet fluctuations. All in all, it pays not to trust any computer totally if it's got anything to do with your internet marketing business. Set up some checks so that you know everything is working as close as it can to the way you expected.